Fangzhou Jiang is a Chinese student at Harvard. He writes, within the next critical weeks, America's higher education landscape may be reshaped for years. My hope, nurtured in the vibrant debates at Harvard Kennedy School, is that Americans recognize this challenge quickly enough to defend what makes their institutions extraordinary. And Fangzhou joins us live now from San Francisco. Fangzhou, thank you so much for being with us at what I can only imagine is a really unsettling time for you and fellow students. It's interesting because Chinese students are really caught in the crosshairs here, because on the one hand you have sort of the initial ban on international students, which we know that a court has struck down. But also you have this idea that in this kind of retaliatory move, because trade talks aren't really going as well as the US administration had hoped, that now there is this plan to revoke student visas for Chinese students as well. Just walk us through how you've been caught in the middle of all of this.
Thank you, Zane, for having me. The last week has definitely been very, very eventful. As we were celebrating graduation, many of my peers, and also the injunction given by the court, that's definitely a good news for international students at Harvard. A couple of days ago, we started hearing that the State Department is taking a more aggressive stance on revoking Chinese student visas, and that definitely sparked a new wave of uncertainty among a lot of Chinese students, not only at Harvard, but also across the board. There are about 300,000 students studying in the US from China, and everybody's definitely a bit worried, given that the details aren't very clear. For instance, what do we mean by party affiliation, and also what are the critical research fields that are affected? But at the same time, I urge students to really think about this critically, because this is not the first time that the Trump administration, even in the first term, implemented certain policies with restrictions. So we just need to assess to what extent this will impact each individual's students' future. So it is definitely a very uncertain and nerve-wracking situation for Chinese international students in the US right now.
I mean, listen, there is this hope, right, that this is just some kind of a negotiation tactic with Beijing, because obviously we saw Donald Trump's post on social media today that he didn't think that the negotiations with China were going well, that according to him, China wasn't living up to its side of the bargain. So, of course, there is this hope that maybe the administration is sort of saying this in order to get the Chinese to move further along in negotiations. And also, by the way, if you look at the tariff policy in the United States, we've seen so much back and forth. The administration says one thing today, and that could be something completely, I mean, there is a difference between June and July when it comes to this administration. So is there that hope among Chinese international students that perhaps this is a temporary move and the administration is going to change its mind? How hopeful are you?
Yeah, for now, I think I am optimistically, cautious, I would say. When I haven't, for example, made any changes to my living housing situation at Harvard next year. For now, I feel that this will be resolved hopefully in the coming weeks. But of course, I'm personally preparing for a range of scenarios, including going back to China to finish my semester online, or taking a leave of absence. But I think in general, we definitely feel that there's one aspect of politics in there, but it's pretty confusing to us because first of all, there are many different people in China that are involved in the political party, not because of their political aspirations, but because it is an opportunity for students to advance. When you target everybody who has some affiliation with the Communist Party, then you don't really have addressed that sort of national security measure. And at the same time, I mean, being targeted as Chinese students is definitely very disheartening. A lot of Chinese international students provide policies on campus. They work very hard academically. They make contributions as members of the community. Being, for example, I was a course assistant. I was the vice president of the student government, assisting international students as well as the domestic US students on campus. So we just want to be given the opportunity, or to continue to have the opportunity to pursue our education here in the US. And in addition, I mean, the new administration isn't a big fan of giving opportunities away to other countries. If we stop having international students from China in the US, then they will ultimately turn to the UK, Canada, Australia, and other countries. That's definitely a loss for American higher education.
Yeah. I mean, I think that one thing I've been very inspired by is just how much solidarity there appears to be between the domestic students and the international students. I mean, it's very clear that the American students at Harvard are really standing with you guys, just with international students more broadly. Fangzhou Jiang, live for us there. I really hope it all gets resolved for you. Okay. Thank you so much for being with us. All right.